All right, everybody, welcome back to your Vinyasa Yoga practice. Thank you all again for tuning in to these classes. It really is nice that we can all still find a time and practice together. Today's practice is going to be about looking at the ego in our yoga practice, and oftentimes our yoga practice is a place where we can let go of this ego, this sense of self that subsumes our thinking, subsumes our way of engaging with the world, so much so that we almost feel like we can be in this sort of waking dream state when we're consumed by our ego or this sense of self, me, mine. And so in today's practice, we're going to be working specifically to engage the mind in a way that helps us to dissipate that connection and helps to deconstruct the sense of self that comes along with all of that self-referential thinking. So that being said, we're going to get started off lying on our backs. So have your knees bent, feet to the floor. And just let the knees fall together nicely towards the middle and take the arms in any position that feels restful for you. And just taking a few slow and deep breaths to feel the space of your body as it expands and contracts with the movement of your breath in your body. Taking one more of the fullest breaths, just feeling like the breath illuminates the space in your body wherever it can go today, just expanding a little bit further beyond the outer layer. And then as you exhale, just drawing the knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a nice little hug, and gently rock from side to side and roll back. And then come back to the center. Extend your left heel forward as you draw your right knee a little bit more deeply in towards your chest. Take an inhale. And exhale, drawing that right knee a little bit more deeply in. As you inhale, gather both knees in towards your chest and draw your head up, round into a little bow. And then exhale, left knee hugs in as the right heel extends forward. Take an inhale as you press that right heel forward. And exhale, draw that left knee a little bit deeper in towards the left armpit. Inhale, draw both knees to center, rounding your head towards your knees. And exhale, right knee in, left leg out. Inhale, both knees to chest, round the forehead in, curl up into a little ball. And exhale, switch, left knee hugs in, right heel extends forward. And just one more time, each side, inhaling back to center. Exhaling, extending left leg, draw right knee in. Inhale, center. Exhale, switch sides. Inhale, both knees to center, rounding in. And exhale, bring the feet back to the floor, rest your head to the floor, and pause to feel the energy of your body. Just noticing sensations unfolding one after the next. So now we're going to do a little bit of moving bridge here. As you press down into both feet, begin to inhale, scoop the tailbone forward, lifting the hips up, taking the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, start to descend one vertebrae at a time, nice and controlled movement. And do that twice more, inhaling, lifting the hips up, engaging the hamstrings. Long frontal hips, chest presses up and back, and exhale, unwinding, upper back, middle back, and lower back sequentially. Inhaling, lifting up, bridge pose, and exhale, lower all the way back down. Good. And then draw the knees back in towards your chest. And then you can rock forwards and back a few times, maybe along the length of your spine. And we'll come all the way to a cross-legged seat with your right shin in front of your left. Take an inhale, lengthen up tall through your spine. Then exhale, begin to fold forward into your hips. And as you start to let the spine release, notice any thoughts that arise.
merely as just another pattern of energy. Thoughts tend to naturally come and go, but it's our interaction with those thoughts is when our minds get lost. So when we focus in and pay closer attention to the sensations as they're unfolding in the body, this helps to undermine this feeling of being lost in thought. Slowly come back up.
Take your right arm out to the right. Take your left arm up and overhead, bending the right arm towards the floor as you stretch long into that left side. Spread the shoulders apart, lean the head slightly back. And exhale, slowly come back to center, and then just switch. Left shin in front of the right. Feet stay flexed, long frontal spine, then exhale, fold forward. Nice and easy. And another place to help anchor the attention is through the breath. So really feel the breath as a primary focal point. Watching the inhale, noticing where it goes, and watching the exhale as it expands the form. Take 2 more cycles. Good. And on your next inhale, come back upright. Take the left arm out to the left. Bend the elbow towards the floor as you take the right arm up and overhead. Feel like the right ring finger is reaching all the way from the right sitting bone. Spread your shoulders, lean the head back, draw the front ribs in. And exhale, slowly press yourself back up. And cross your shins, come forward onto all fours in a tabletop position. And for today, let's take the hands and spin them around. So take your fingers and face them, middle fingers back towards your knees with the thumbs out. And if that's too much, you can do one hand at a time. And we'll do our cat and cows here. So as you inhale, scoop your chest forward and up, broadening the collarbones. As you exhale, press the earth away and round, filling the low belly in as you draw your forehead toward your pubic bones. And just continue to cycle it through, trying to keep the palms spreading and a soft bend into the elbows. Again, noticing each sensation, trying to weave breath to movement. One more time. Good. Come back to a neutral position with your spine. Release your hand. And then taking your left foot back to the back end of your mat, right hand stays down. Come into a modified Vashisthasana, modified side plank. And then from here, just take your left arm and begin to reach it up and overhead, swinging it all the way through your shoulder. Just going 3 times in this direction, keeping the right shoulder stable, front ribs hugging in. And then switch directions, reaching back, forward and down, and then up and over. So just 3 times now in this second direction. Good. And then releasing, hands back to the floor, and then shift over to the second side. So the left ankle will be behind that left knee, right arm reaches up, inhale. Exhale, take the right arm up and overhead and begin to draw forward and down. So you're opening up through the full right shoulder, almost like you're creating a little bit of resistance through the body. And keeping everything still but trying to find fluidity in the shoulder, and then reverse that. Just 3 big circles, feeling the full range of motion through your shoulder joint. Good. Last cycle through, plant your palms. And then take the arms a big step forward. So they come into puppy dog pose or heart melting pose, whatever you'd like to call it. And as you press into the palms, let the chest melt down, spin the biceps up. You can let your forehead rest down if that feels comfortable, or look forward. Keep your hips right over top of your knees, spread your palms, feel the fingers and the palms awaken.
the shoulders, the upper back. Excellent work. And then slowly walk the hands back underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes, lift up and back into downward facing dog. In your down dog, take a moment and inhale to lift the heels up nice and high. As you exhale, bend your left knee, drive the right heel down through the center of the heel bone. Inhale, lift both heels, sitting bones high. Exhale, right knee bends, left heel drives straight down. And just alternating sides with the breath. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, switch. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, switch. Good. Inhale, both heels high. And then take both heels up and over to the right, stretching out through that left side. Keep pushing into both arms, lengthening the hips up and back. Good. Inhale back to center, heels high, hips back. Exhale over to the second side. Again, push through the arms, lift the hips. Bring the heels back to center. Then exhale, step your right foot forward between the hands. Back knee lowers to the floor. And bring your hands to your front thigh as you lift your torso upright. Good. From here, inhale, stretch the arms, opening the chest, pulling the arms back. As you exhale, take your left elbow on top of your right. Press the palms together, shoulder blades draw onto your back, and pull your legs towards one another so you get a little more lift from the low belly. Inhale, draw the arms up and back. Exhale, round into the back as you draw your chin in towards your chest. We'll just do that twice more. Inhaling, find a little back bend. Exhale, front ribs in, chin draws down, fill the upper back. One more, inhaling. And exhale. Good, release the arms, inhale, sweep them up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, find downward facing dog. And just in this downward facing dog, can you relax your eyes, relax your jaw, and feel into the pose. Really let your senses become alive so that the mind gets quiet. See what you can notice when you pay closer attention to this shape. This form of the body is just different bits of information coming in, moment by moment. Take an inhale in your dog pose, stretch long. Then exhale, take your left foot forward, back knee to the floor. And then inhale, bring the hands to the front thigh, draw torso up. And then take your both arms out, opening up the chest, and then right elbow will be on top of left elbow. Good. Pressing palms together. Begin to lean up and back. Inhaling. As you exhale, pull the front ribs in and round the spine. Good. Twice more, just like that. Gathering through the legs, filling up as you find a back bend. Exhale, drawing down, rounding through the back as the chin tucks. Last time here, inhaling, Garudasana, mini back bend. Exhale, chin draws down, filling back, spreading the back of the heart. Release the arms, inhale, stretch them up. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back, downward facing dog. And then again, just spread your palms, spread the feet, lifting thigh bones back. Inhale, shift forward into a plank pose. Feeling the thigh bones firming up from the inner thighs, tailbone lengthening to heels. Inhale. And exhale, lower all the way down. You can come to knees first. Easier on the elbows. Take the legs a little bit further, stretch back in space as you spread the tops of the feet. And inhale, scoop the belly up, drawing the shoulders back, come into Bhujangasana Cobra pose. So again, as you're breathing here, the inhale is helping you to lengthen and lift the front of the spine. Exhale is firming the back body in, navel in. Last inhale, be present here. Exhale, slowly lower, tuck the toes, press back, downward facing dog. Then from your down dog, just begin to walk your feet forward as you come into a forward fold, Uttanasana. And in this forward bend, just let your head and neck completely release. Bring your hands to your shins, inhale up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, bow down, Uttanasana. Again, inhaling, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, kneecaps firm, low belly draws in. Exhale, fold and lengthen the spine, Uttanasana. Inhale, root down to rise, reach the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, resting arms at your sides, standing in Tadasana, just feeling, again, all the different sensations unfolding, moment by moment. Good. Bend your knees, come back into a chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward and bow down, Uttanasana. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, fold deeply. Bend the knees, inhale, come into the chair pose. Sit down, Utkatasana. Exhale, rise up to standing, Tadasana. Bend the knees, inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, fold forward, bowing down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take your right foot back, lower knee down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, hands come to the floor, back plank pose. Inhale, plank. Exhaling to chaturanga or floor. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale into the downward facing dog. Breathing fully and breathing deeply. Root down into your foundation. And rest into the feeling of awareness of the body, the breath. Inhale, float the right leg up and back, bend the knee, stack the hips open this time. Good. And as you lift that right outer shin, outer hip a little higher, keep wrapping that left outer thigh back in space. Inhaling here. Exhale, knee to nose, step forward, back knee down. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhaling, hands to the floor, step forward, standing forward fold. Inhaling, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward and bow down. Inhale, we rise, strong straight legs, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, hands by your sides. Feeling everything, feeling the foundation of your feet all the way up. Good. And take a full exhale, let everything out, let everything settle. Inhale, arms reach to the sky. Exhale, folding forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, left foot back this time, knee to the floor. Inhale, arms sweep up to the sky. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back, plank pose. Inhale, plank. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 steady breaths. Again, can you let all of your attention be drawn into the sensations? Can you have a mind of no mind? Not lost in thought or consumed by a sense of self, but really just feeling everything that's unfolding here. Inhale, left leg up and back, bend the knee, stack the hips open. Good, and continue to wrap the right outer thigh back, lift the left outer knee, outer shin. Exhale, knee to nose, step it through. Back knee to the floor, inhale, arms up. And exhale, hands to the mat. Step forward, standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow down, Uttanasana. Inhale, bend the knees, sit back, Utkatasana. Chair pose. Exhale, rise to stand. Release the arms. Take a couple of breaths.
Letting yourself return back to this place of just watching, noticing. Good. And now from here, bend your knees, sit your hips back a bit, and take your right ankle on top of your left thigh. And then begin to draw the hip creases further back as you plant your hands to the floor. Or maybe bring your hands to blocks, whatever you need here. You can even bring that left hand to the sole of your right foot. And again, as you're finding your alignment here, so the outer left hip hugs in, low belly draws back, can you keep your mind open and focused to what's happening? Noticing if and when thoughts come and the mind gets carried off away from paying close attention. Option to stay here or move into the arm balance of Ekapada Galavasana. Bring that right knee deep into the right armpit and then lift from the inseam of the left leg. And then we'll come back and everyone will rise up out of the pose. Release the foot down. See how quiet and reflective you can be without moving or fidgeting, giving way to impulse. And if the urge to fidget or move around is there, just notice that too. Another appearance in consciousness. We'll take the second side. So bend the knees, left ankle will come on top of the right thigh, pushing that outer ankle against the top right thigh to engage outer hip. Hip creases draw back, right hip hugs in. And it's also helpful to steady the gaze towards this one object that's not moving. Keeping a sense of the breath, moving continuously without being inhibited by distractions. And then if you went into the arm balance on the first side, here on the second side as well, bring that left knee deep into that left armpit, planting your hands, taking your right leg straight back as the heart reaches forward. And planting that foot back to the floor when you're ready. Rise out of the pose, release the foot down, and just observe. Notice your body's subtle recalibration, subtle sense of ground and calm with both feet connected to the floor. Very good. And then bend the knees, come back into a chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Now this time you're going to bring your left hand down to a floor or to a block. And you can play around with how high you need your block. But take the right arm up as you come into a twist, right leg straightens, and tailbone wraps down. So you're in a nice open twist here. Inhale, reaching the biceps apart, lean the head slightly back. As you exhale, right hand replaces the left. Inhale, taking left arm up. And turning the chest as that left leg straightens. Tailbone loops to the floor and turning the chest. So when you bring your full focus into this moment, into this posture, there's no room for the ego. The full attention is required to be cognizant of the feet, grounding into the floor, finding length through the crown of the head, spreading the biceps apart. Exhale, folding left hand back to the floor. Bring your hands to shins, inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant your palms, step both legs back, come into plank, vinyasa, or skip it, and we'll meet in down dog. From downward facing dog, inhale, float the right leg up and back this time. Keeping the right leg straight, turn the toes out to the side. Good. Inhale here. Exhale, knee to nose, step forward. Inhale into the first warrior, Virabhadrasana 1. And as you exhale, open up Into Virabhadrasana 2, second warrior. Taking 3 breaths here. Feel like the legs are sinking deeper into the floor as the arms spread you apart. Take the right palm, reach up and back, reverse warrior, lengthening out through that right side. Last inhale, keep reaching through the right ring fingers. Exhale, hands swing down to the floor. And step back into plank pose. Lower all the way down. From the floor, take the arms back, palms face down. Begin to lift the legs, then lift the chest, then lift arms, Shalabhasana for 3. Draw the belly in, chest reaches forward for 2. Last inhale, grow a little bit longer and higher. Good, exhale, release everything down. And transition back, downward facing dog. From your down dog, inhale the left leg up and back, turning the toes out. Exhale, knee to nose, step forward. Virabhadrasana 1, first warrior. Turning the hips to face forward, exhale, open it up. Second warrior, Vira 2. And take a moment to let the thighs settle into the pose. As that left thigh bone drops a little bit heavier towards the floor, draw that left heel back towards you and reach right shoulder, right hip back towards the back edge of your mat. Inhale, reverse warrior, lift and lengthen that left side. And exhale, swing the hands back to the mat. Step back into plank, lower slow to the floor. And we're just gonna take the forearms forward now for Sphinx. And we're gonna do a little thing borrowed from Jason Crandall, these forearm roll-ups here to get a little more engagement through the low belly. So as you inhale, draw the shoulders back, chest lifts up, navel draws to spine. And then as you exhale, draw the front ribs in, lift the low belly, lift the hips so you're on your knees, tailbone wrapping towards your heels. And then slowly reverse that, let the thighs lower, hips lower, then lift, belly, chest, side body. Exhale, front ribs draw in, hollowing out so you're on your knees, tailbone wrapping to the heels, forearms hugging in. One more, thighs lowering, lifting, chest, heart, shoulders back. And exhale, front ribs gather in, low belly lifts, tailbone loops to the heels, and then slowly lower thighs, chest, and lower everything down to the floor. Rest your head for a moment. Take 2 deep breaths. And again, just feeling and sensing everything appearing in its own place. Press yourself back into downward facing dog, please. From down dog, inhale, lift your right leg up and back this time. Exhale, draw your right foot around your right hand and lower the back knee to the floor. And then keeping this right foot nice and heavy, just pull back a little bit with the right heel. Letting your heart lengthen forward and dragging that left knee and chin forward just a bit. And take 2 or 3 deep breaths. In fact, go ahead and drop your gaze all the way down towards that left thigh and just feel if that changes the pose at all. For me, I get a little bit more in the front of that left hip and towards the psoas, but see if it's true for you. Begin to lift the head once again so it's in line with the rest of the spine. Turn the left palm slightly out. Reach back and find the outer edge of the back foot. From here, begin to kick back into that hand and turn your chest, keeping the right knee over the right ankle and trying to drag that left knee forward. Breathing here for 3. Remember to let your mind stay in the sensations, staying with the breath for for 2 and 1. Release the back foot. And then take your right leg and just bring it across your body for a variation of pigeon pose. So the right shin would be pressing down. Bring the top of the left foot down. And then you can come to fists or bring the hands to blocks. Push down into the floor and try to drag the right outer shin back as the left hip wraps forward and down. In addition to that, keep the low belly drawing back and start to walk the arms forward, just like so the arms are in down dog with the arms. So pushing the floor away, drawing the hips back. Breathing here for 3. Letting the hips soften back and down for 2. And 1. Walking the hands back right underneath your shoulders. Step back into down dog. Inhale forward into plank. Option to take a vinyasa or modify. Inhale into up dog or cobra. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up and back, straight up and back this time. And exhale, step the left foot around the left hand. Back knee to the floor. Good, and again, make this left foot heavy and pull back a bit. And reach forward through crown of the head and let the chin draw in towards your chest as you look at that right thigh. And feel the breath, fill that space. And again, just look for the one who is paying attention. Who or what is fully conscious in this moment. Begin to lift your head slowly. Turn the right hand out slightly, take the left arm back. And reach and find the outer edge of the back foot and kick into that hand as you drag the knee forward, turning the chest. For 3, 2, and 1. Release the back foot to the floor. And then take that left leg across your body now for a pigeon. Left outer shin pressing down, top of the right foot pressing down, and those 2 points pull together as you scoop the low belly back. And then walk the arms forward just so that they're at about the same angle as down dog would be, with your arms pushing to draw the hips back and down. Take 1 more steady cycle of breath. Being here fully, trying not to let the mind be filled or preoccupied. Paying as close attention as you can to each moment as it's unfolding. Walk your hands back underneath the shoulders. Tuck the back toes back into downward facing dog. Option here to take a vinyasa or not if you don't want to. Inhale in dog pose. Exhale, step your right foot forward between the hands. Pivot your feet around so you come into a wide-legged forward fold in Prasarita Padottanasana. Keep pulling the hands back towards you as you reach your heart forward, lifting the kneecaps, and bend your right knee as you push the left heel away from you, drawing the right groin crease back as the left inner thigh lengthens. Slowly pushing back through the center, and then exhale over to the other side. Good. A couple more times, slowly pressing back through center. Right knee bends, right hip crease deepens back. And then moving from side to side, nice and fluidly through the legs. Good. Come back to the center here. Now, we're going to change this up a little bit in the work for our legs. So now I want you to turn your toes out slightly so they're about 45 degrees out. And then as you bend toward your right knee, drawing your hips back and down, turn the left toes up
coming towards Skandasana. And then slowly transition, keeping your torso low, move slow. Go back over to the second side. Skandasana, right toes turn up, kneecap is firm and lifted. And then try and go as slowly back and forth as you can. Use your hands if you need to. Using the hands can be really helpful. If you want to try it without hands, just make sure you're moving from your core. But hands are a really nice way to just move back and forth through the hips. This can be really opening up as well as revealing of any areas where we might be especially tight. Come back to the center, and then from here, pushing into your palms, leaning your shoulders over your wrists, try to draw the feet together with a little hop, and slowly rise up to stand. Just taking a brief couple of seconds to just feel, observe without judgment, without narrating or creating a story. Letting go of that thinking mind, that egoic mind. Excellent. So we'll take the feet wide once again, and this time we're going to be really getting into this is nice, especially for the low back and for the side body, but you're going to keep the feet rooted down firmly. Take the arms wide like Da Vinci's man, and then bending your right knee, you're going to reach that left hand around, so you can just watch me the first time through. So my left fingertips are facing my right foot with my right knee bent, right arm reaching up. And then I'll inhale, come back to center. And then exhale over to the other side, right hand towards that left foot with the left knee bent, turning and opening the chest. We'll do that twice more each side. Inhale, become expansive. Exhale, wrap and turn. Rinsing out through the back. Inhale, center. Exhale, bending left knee, right hand to the floor, left arm up. One more. Inhale. And exhale, left hand towards right foot. Inhale, center. Exhale, right hand towards left foot. Inhale, center. And exhale, hands come to the hips. And you can walk the feet or hop the feet back together. And then turn once again towards the front edge of your mat, please. And this time we're going to bend into chair pose. And then lower all the way down, if you can, into Malasana, coming into your squat. And just take a few moments here, shifting side to side or forwards and back. It's really helpful too to place a rolled up bit of your yoga mat underneath your heels if you can't get the heels down to the floor. So roll up your mat and place that under your heels if you can't get the heels down. And just shifting maybe from side to side, feeling a little bit of movement. And then if you want to take the arm balance, moving into Bakasana or the crane or crow pose from here, you're welcome to do that. Knees hugging deeply in, feet hug together as you lift in and up, hollowing out, breathing, looking forward. And then eventually we'll transition back into dog pose. So downward facing dog is the destination. Good. Go ahead, drop the knees down to the floor. And we're going to take either a block to sit on if you need to in Virasana, or just sitting into Virasana. Bring the thumbs to the backs of the calves, just pulling them straight back to the heels as you take a seat. And then you're going to reach both arms back and either take fists together or into reverse prayer or reverse namaskar. And as you press the palms or the knuckles into one another, use that to open the collarbones a little wider.
Those of you dealing with quite a bit of neck and shoulder tension, here is a really good place to look for what's happening, look for what's showing up in this area of the body. Front ribs connect in, collarbones continue to splay wide, and the elbows are just pressing a little bit forward. Recommit to the hands or knuckles pushing together. Take one more inhale. Then exhale, just release the arms. Pause, feel the echo of energy. Okay, so now we're gonna work into the neck and the shoulders a bit more. So interlace your palms behind you and then take both wrists over to the right. And then squeeze the elbows towards one another like there's some sort of ball between the elbows, and drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. So right hand is clasped with the left hand right next to your right hip, elbows squeezed together, right ear drops down. And you can feel free to wiggle your jaw from side to side. You can tuck or lift the chin. Just feel it around that left side of the neck, shoulder area, keeping the front ribs hugging in to maintain the neutral spine. Good. One more breath here. And bring the head slowly back up, and then over to the other side. The hands will be clasped right into the outside of the left hip. Draw the elbows towards one another and bring the left ear towards the left shoulder. As the palms press firmly, just letting that right shoulder, neck, all that deep sternocleidomastoideus muscles let go. And ultimately anchoring your attention into the proper channel of sensation. Notice if you're always looking for more into the pose, or can you be content with what it is that you find today? Is that enough? Bring the head back to center. Release the arms. And again, just feel for a couple of breaths. Noticing the blood flow, the prana. And then plant your hands, come back into downward facing dog. From down dog, keep spreading the palms, lifting and opening up now with the renewed space in the shoulders, letting the head and neck be really heavy. Get the lower knees to the floor once again. This time you're going to take right knee on top of the left knee, and you're going to sit back into Gomukhasana with the legs. Now, if your both sitting bones don't come to the ground balanced, I'd like you to either sit to a block or sit to the edge of a blanket so that you have both of your sits bones on an even plane with one another. That's a really important part to the foundation of this posture. And then just take a moment to get the knees stacked right on top of one another, drawing the torso up, and fold forward from the hip creases. Keeping the feet flexed, softening the torso forward. You can always place a block underneath your forehead if you need it. And really let the breath just take over here. So if you notice there's some stagnation, if you notice yourself getting frustrated or restless, notice those two as just simply additional patterns of energy and consciousness. And likely, very likely we'll find that these emotional states are very transient. They come and go rapidly.
taking about 3 more of your deepest breaths yet. Releasing tension in the outer hips, low back, low belly. Carefully come on up. And then take your right leg out to the right. So now the right leg is in. We're setting up for a revolved Janu-Shasana. So my legs are almost open like Upavishta Konasana, with the left knee bent, left heel in towards the sitting bone. And then turn everything towards that left knee. So turn your navel towards that left knee, towards the bent knee, keeping your right leg straight, reaching long through the inner heel. And then reach that right arm down the inside of the right leg. Oh, hi, Hannah. Did you come do yoga? Thank you. From here, take your left hand pushing down to that left inner thigh. And you can reach the left arm up and overhead. But give yourself some time here and try to get to the inside of this right thigh so you can really turn and look under that left arm. Maybe with the right hand you grip hold of the right foot, finding just a little more depth. And then slowly come on out of the pose. Bring the hands back behind you. And just notice what the feeling of side bending is like right after. And then let's take the second side. So we'll have the left knee on top of the right. And again, this might take a little time to set up, especially if you need to get your sitting bones oriented properly. You might need to sit to a block or up onto a blanket or multiple. And once you feel like your pelvis is kind of centered here, the knees right in the middle of the pelvis and the sitting bones heavily rooted, then begin to fold forward at the hip creases. Just giving yourself permission and time to let go of the self-referential thinking. To let go of this constant monkey mind conversation. It really frees up our attention when we can be with what is as it's appearing. Allowing this practice to help us embody this mode of disconnecting from the self, or getting rid of this extra layer of the self by just becoming more tuned in to consciousness all on its own. Taking 3 more deep, full breaths. And slowly begin to come back up. Release your left leg out to the left, and you'll have your right heel in towards the right sitting bone. As you turn everything over towards that bent knee, you'll scoop the navel towards the right knee, and then taking your left arm down the inseam of that left thigh. Your right hand can assist you in turning, but you really have to try and get the left torso inside of that left thigh to really turn from underneath the low belly. Maybe eventually that left hand grabs a hold of the foot, right arm can reach overhead. Feeling the breath expand the space of the pose. Soft eyes, mouth, jaw. Take one more breath. Come on up. Rest your hands behind you. Take a couple of slow breaths. Well done. From here, I want you to take both legs out nice and wide for Upavishta Konasana. And you're going to walk slowly down the front of the legs, just folding forward. And if that's not accessible today, I want you to make sure you're upright on your sitting bones with your fingertips back behind you and push into the floor with your fingertips to elevate the chest as the sitting bones root heavily down, the thigh bones root heavily down. Then, and only then, as you maintain that, fold forward, finding depth in the hips, groins. As you release forward and down, let the exhales carry you into greater sensation. Let the breath be the main focal point for the mind in this yoga practice today. Continue to let that be a way of anchoring yourself to the present moment. So we're going to add those twists that we did in Revolve Janu Shirshasana here in our Upavishta Konasana. So you're going to take your right arm, bring it down to the inside of the right leg as you reach the left arm forward and up, turning the chest. And then to come back, you're going to reach forward, 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 getting even more space. Like you're crawling an inch further, coming to that left side now. Right fingertips reach forward, 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 then up and overhead. And each time you're just going to get maybe a millimeter more of space, reaching forward, 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 using your hand to slowly push back into that thigh and turn open again. Just back and forth about 3 more times. This really feels nice into the side body, especially this sort of rounding forward and through the midline. And taking that opposite arm, reaching it a little bit further. Last time each side. Spreading the shoulders, letting the neck feel free. Good. Come back to the center. And slowly guide yourself all the way back up. Bring your hands to the backs of the knees. Draw the legs together. And then scoot yourself forward and come to lie down on your backs. Hug the knees into your chest and take a happy baby's pose. So grab the outer edges of your feet, pull down. Feel your low back spacious and broad. Feel the shoulders heavily rooted and the feet pressing up into the hands. And then release the feet to the floor. Take the right knee over top of the left. Move the hips a few inches to the right and drop your knees over to the left. Just in this final twist, if you want to intensify it at all, which you may choose not to, you might take the knees a little bit deeper up in towards that left armpit, getting more of a round here as you turn the chest. Let the inhales and exhales feel completely effortless in these last couple twists. Nicely done. Just unwind your legs. Slowly come back to the center, adjusting your pelvis. And then we'll take the second side, left knee over the right, hips a little to left, legs over to the right. And if you need or choose to intensify it, the knees will walk up higher towards the armpit. That left shoulder stays anchored to the floor. Again, towards the end of our practice today, more of letting the breath breathe you than the other way around. Unravel the legs and come back to the center and take your final rest in Shavasana, or if you'd like to take legs up the wall to conclude today's practice for your inversion, that's totally fine. So legs up the wall with a nice support, or lying down for your final rest in corpse pose. Just let your mind be wide open. Notice what spontaneously appears and disappears in this landscape of consciousness. And then direct your attention onto your breath. Just letting the breath unfold as it comes. And as you notice each breath, notice if it feels like you're watching the breath from somewhere up in your head. Notice this too as merely an illusion, another appearance in consciousness. Who or what is breathing? Or is it simply just the breath appearing and disappearing moment by moment? And just slowly start to deepen your breath. Start to move the hands and feet more freely once more. And then knees in towards your chest one at a time. Roll over to your right side. And then carefully press yourself up to a comfortable seat. And then take your hands together at your heart center, just absorbing the benefits of this practice. The
presence of mind, the attention and focus that have been cultivated in this practice. And just notice anything else that feels different in the body or the mind from when you first began. And as we salute and honor the essence of yoga within ourselves, we bow forward to that divine nature that resides in each of us. Namaste.